It is finally happening. A $2,700 check will begin going out to Social Security beneficiaries on a monthly basis. But the Social Security Administration has confirmed that there are requirements that have to be met in order to be eligible to receive this extra stimulus money. Let's get straight into the news. Every month, the Social Security Administration sends out payments to retirees, the disabled, and plenty of more people who are eligible for it. At the end of 2021, over 67 million beneficiaries, everybody, received some sort of financial support from the Social Security Administration. Plus, over 72% were retired workers. And those 72% are the group that could be receiving the new $2,700 stimulus check, monthly check that is, as long as they fulfill a set of requirements set out by the Social Security Administration. Now, the organization is in control of approving who receives the monthly check, which is tied to retirement age and a host of other factors. Those receiving the $2,700 monthly check are couples who have retired and are recipients from support of the SSA. For individuals receiving retirement benefits, the maximum that can be received is around $1,657. Now, these values are just the average. For retirees who waited to retire until the full retirement age of 67, they could be in line to receive up to $3,300 each month this year, up $197 from the year before. But everybody, the longer the Americans wait to receive payments from their federal retirement account, the higher the monthly check they can expect to receive based on their work history. The Senior Citizens League, an advocacy group for seniors, says a movement to get a fourth stimulus check for everybody is finally moving forward. The group issued a call to Congress to take action for Social Security recipients, citing rising costs of Medicare, food, housing, and transportation. The petition asked for a $1,400 check to people on Social Security. The petition has been signed more than 95,000 times. The petition also states that soaring inflation has taken a toll on household finances of retired and disabled Social Security recipients in 2021. Social Security benefits increased by just 1.3%, raising the average benefit by only about $20 a month. But about 86% of Social Security recipients surveyed say their expenses increased by much more than that amount. And Joe Manchin said that government leaders need to stop searching for where to lay the blame as inflation reaches record highs, and instead cut spending and expand U.S. energy. The statement from Manchin comes after he was the loudest critic of the Biden administration's handling of the problem. And according to Joe Manchin, the president and the Federal Reserve have not done enough to deal with inflation, as it reached a new 40-year high with the consumer price index up 8.5% from March 2021 to last month. In an official statement, Manchin said, "When will this end? It is a disservice to the American people to act as if inflation is a new phenomenon. The Federal Reserve and the administration failed to act fast enough, and today's data is a snapshot of time. The American people deserve the truth about why record inflation is happening and what must be done to control it." Now, Manchin also stated that getting inflation under control will require more aggressive action by a Federal Reserve that waited too long to act. It demands the administration and Congress, Democrats and Republicans alike, support an all-above energy policy, because that is the only way to bring down the high price of gas and energy while attacking climate change. The White House initially dismissed inflation last year as a transitory problem before it continued to surge into 2021 and 2022. So we definitely see that President Biden has to do something about inflation. Folks, if you think President Biden should definitely do something about this, tell me in the comments down below.
Inspiring to hear President Zelensky give his impassioned presentation. First, as you saw, in Ukrainian, then very explicit, heartbreaking film of what the Russians are doing to even little children in Ukraine, and then in English, his impassioned plea. It was all very, very powerful, and his leadership, he's a hero. It just was remarkable to see him. And I was so pleased that so many members, House and Senate, Democrats and Republicans, filled the House yesterday and filled the air with their applause, first to welcome him and then to appreciate what he had to say. It was quite remarkable, quite historic. It was an honor to be there to see him. But the purpose of the visit was tragic and heartbreaking. Later that morning, I had a meeting with the G7 heads of parliament. It was presided over by Germany, which heads up the G7 at this time. And it was with the G7, the parliament head of the EU, as well as Stepanchuk, who is the Speaker of the Ukraine Parliament. Again, it too, with emotion to hear the stories of what is happening there. We put forth a proclamation, which you all should have received yesterday, talking about humanitarian, economic, military assistance in great detail, but it also says that we have to continue to isolate Russia in the global economy and society, as well as address the disinformation that Russia is putting out. Again, yesterday, 2 days ago, we went to the White House and the President signed the omnibus bill, and that was quite remarkable for us, because here we've been talking about bills that are $1.7 trillion over 10 years. This bill, the $1.5 trillion omnibus bill, passed in a very strong bipartisan way to meet the needs of the American people and to protect them, had very strong bipartisan support. It was signed by the President. We were very pleased that same day Shalonda Young was confirmed as the director of OMB with her history in the Congress. That's just a personal aside. In that omnibus bill, we are defending democracy in the Ukraine, $13.6 billion in emergency funding for security and humanitarian needs, making a difference for America's families, lowering the cost for education with bigger Pell Grants, and establishing the President's ARPA-H, something very exciting. It's an initiative to defeat cancer and other diseases, unlocking billions more in federal dollars under the bipartisan infrastructure bill. That bill was very important, but it needed an appropriation to free up billions and billions of dollars that were in it, and now that is done. And historic bipartisan legislation reauthorizing the Violence Against Women Act, establishing a new, again, in addition to that, establishing new cyber provisions against Russia. The bill goes on and on, $1.5 trillion. This victory in that bill, this victory for the American people, builds on Democrats' actions to lower costs for families. Congress and the presidents have been hard at work to create jobs. How about this president? 6.6 million new jobs were created last year. Grow the economy, fastest rate of growth in 40 years last year. Lowest unemployment last year saw the biggest one-year drop in unemployment in history, and today